How can I fix my relationship with my stepdad after my mom said she doesn't want to share him? To give a bit of backstory, my mom has 4 kids with 3 different men. My older sister and I have the same dad. My mom and bio dad had split custody until a family tragedy happened in my mom's family when I was in 5th grade, that left her unable to take care of her kids. Me and my older sister went with our dad in one state, and our little sister went with her dad in a different state. It was really hard because me and my little sister were very close and now we were separated. We would visit my mom in her state for the summers, but my dad continued raising my older sister and I until I was around 15 and my older sister was 17. By that time, my mom had been remarried for a few years and had a new baby. She offered to let us come live with her and her husband and our new brother, so we did. It was around this time that my older sister came out to our family with really disturbing information about how my bio father sexually abused her when we were kids. I had my own memories of inappropriate things my bio dad had done, so we cut contact and we haven't spoken to my dad in years. This was really hard on me. My older sister and I stayed with my mom and her current husband until we were 18. We were all very close, and for once my mom had found a man who was actually a great person. I love my stepdad and I'm so happy that my little brother has an amazing dad. My second stepdad / little sister's dad was physically abusive. After I became an adult, I moved out on my own and would visit my mom and stepdad's house regularly. I was so happy to finally feel like I had a true family unit. My bio dad was a shitty person and I saw my stepdad as my real father figure / someone I could look up to. He helped me through some of the toughest times of my life and even paid for me to be admitted to a psych facility when I was considering killing myself due to all the trauma from my childhood. My mom used to be very unwell / abusive when we were kids, but she has changed a lot. My stepdad is very successful in the music industry, which I've been interested in for as long as I can remember. My mom knows this is my dream, so he has helped me a lot in finding my footing with that and helping me record. There's a studio in our backyard. About 2 years ago, I was at their house and my stepdad was being interviewed on a live stream about music stuff. My mom and I were watching it and she said something to me, but my stepdad was in the middle of saying something interesting about the history of music, so I kept listening to him for a second. She snatched her iPad we were watching it on and backed away from me, clutching it to her chest, while giving me the dirtiest look and left the room. She was wasted and doesn't remember this. She's an alcoholic. Another time she was wasted and told me in passing that she doesn't want to share Chris with us, meaning my sisters and I. This really disturbed me and made me feel very uncomfortable to be around my stepdad. I find it really unfair that she doesn't even remember these things she said and done that have now effectively ruined my relationship with my stepdad. Me and him used to talk about anything and just hang out. Now, it's nearly impossible for me to be in the same room as him alone, because it gives me horrible anxiety. He definitely has noticed and now avoids me too, because I've accidentally made it so weird between us. Obviously, he has no clue what has been said by my mom. If he did, he would be horrified. How can I go about rectifying this? I'm at a complete loss and just want a normal family back. Next story 2. My boyfriend gets upset when I play video games alone and don't invite him. I live with my boyfriend and sometimes I just like to go into our game room and play video games by myself. I'll invite him to play with me on occasion, but sometimes I feel like soloing matches, so I'll just go in and start playing. Something he does often is, he'll come into the room and ask me, "Did you want to play with me? Because you didn't ask me to play with you." This puts me in a very awkward position because it's not like I'm avoiding spending time with him, I just wanted to do something by myself. This usually turns into an argument somehow. Today after eating breakfast, I got on Overwatch, played one game to test out some settings I tweaked and then went into the practice range, not an actual game, a place with bots where I can practice characters / abilities. He came into the room and asked me the same question. I said I wasn't playing a real game and he cut me off and said he saw me playing an actual game earlier and that I'm deflecting. I said, well yeah, I played one game alone to test something out, but I'm not really playing anymore. I'm testing out abilities against bots. I don't see how I was deflecting. This turned into an argument where he basically told me that in a relationship, I'm supposed to communicate to him when I'm going to do something. I shouldn't just go into the game room alone and start playing without telling him. I think that's weird. I just want to chill and play games on my day off. I didn't realize I needed to touch base in order to do that. I disagreed and he said that I need to learn how relationships work, and he's been in our room with the door closed ever since. It's a really odd phenomenon, and I don't really understand why I have to invite him to play with me every time I feel like playing a video game. If he wants to play with me, can't he just ask? Is it really rude of me to just go and play video games without telling him? I don't see why I have to voice to him what I'm doing throughout the day. Do I really have to do that if I'm going to live with somebody? I'd really like to see an outside perspective. Comment. He sounds incredibly insecure that you have the independence to do something on your own. Living together, it would be courtesy to let each other know when you're going to be home, but you don't need to announce every time you're going to do something trivial like watch TV, playing games, or reading a book, etc. I mean, it is kinda rude that you just walk away and go into another room without saying anything to him. Like, that's rude as hell. When my so wants to go game after we have been hanging out together, he will give me a kiss and say I am a go game. Simple. Does he have to? No, but it helps, so I don't think he's coming back to hang out with me, and it helps to know he's not upset or mad and just walked away for nothing. I don't need to know every move he makes, but if me and him are hanging out and he randomly just walked away and didn't say anything to me and didn't come back, I would think he's upset with me. I don't see why it's so hard to just say, hey honey, I'm going to game for a bit. I totally understand that perspective, but this happens while we weren't spending time together in the first place. He'll hear me enter the game room and gets upset I went in there to play specifically, even if I was in an entirely different room than him before even starting to play. You should start being overly controlling about something completely innocuous in return. Tell him he's not allowed to enter the bathroom to pee or poop without informing you and asking permission, and that it's totally rude not to, because you need to be aware of his toilet schedule as his girlfriend and you now own his dick. Go off the rail. Be ridiculous. Maybe he'll get it. Maybe not, but you want to be controlled by this dude over trivial shit every day. Maybe you need your own place. Is that an option? Get an actual roommate so you get some space from your overly needy obsessive boyfriend who needs a timeout to appreciate what he has. Next story 3. Do I end or fight for a relationship with my GF of 4 years? Situation is pretty self-explanatory. We've been dating for almost 4 years and we rarely get into any arguments. We kind of just bicker at each other and get over it within a couple hours, but again, this rarely happens. I've been extremely happy up until a month or so. She is an amazing person who cares about people and gives me freedom to do pretty much whatever I want, aka not controlling at all. A month ago I felt a feeling that I've never felt, and I'm assuming it's me falling out of love. There are things I addressed with her that I would like her to improve on, being negative towards life / and just being overall more positive, and I haven't seen much of a change. About 2 weeks ago I woke up with crippling anxiety where I could barely function through the day, and I blamed her for this feeling as we live together and work from home. I also thought I lost attraction, but the attraction comes and goes. I've told her my feelings may be fading, and it was extremely hard for me to watch her break down, but after I told her I felt a sense of relief. The anxiety also may have come from her wanting to be engaged, married and have children within the next 3 years, and I've communicated this with her multiple times that I don't think I'll ever know if I'll want children, and it would be a spontaneous thing if I decide I want them, but it wouldn't be for at least 5 to 6 years, which doesn't align with her timeline. She is aware of this but said she wants to just stay with me and hope I change my mind about wanting children. She also believes that her life will be over if we break up because she won't be able to find anyone else at her age. I think this is dramatic. I believe I still love her, but I'm not in love with her, and I think my feelings will slowly start to fade more as time goes on. I also have wondered if there's someone else out there for me. I've told her I want to figure out my feelings as soon as possible, so it's no too late for her to get over the breakup and find someone to give her the life with children she deserves. I'm currently staying with a friend to get some space and clear my head. As you can tell, I'm confused and was wondering if anyone has gone through a similar situation and would like some advice. Comment. Realistically, you can end a relationship with anyone for any reason, no matter how long you've been together. However, the way you go about it makes a big difference. It sounds like you guys have very different ideas about your future, and not all things can be compromised on, especially children. You both would probably be better off in other relationships. Also, it sounds like you may have some serious inner work to do. You admitted she isn't a very positive person, so you told her that it's her fault you woke up with crippling anxiety. Obviously this is only a page out of your relationship book and not the whole thing, so I can't accurately judge the situation, but I think she may need more support from you. Kudos to you for being so honest with her, but it's not fair to her for you to continue being with her. I don't think her saying her life would be over is dramatic, because it's how she feels. You've spent, arguably, the most important time in your adult lives together. Although she would be fine eventually if you two broke up, it definitely wouldn't feel that way immediately, and especially not now. I think your best bet would unfortunately be to end the relationship. But I would like to say, be gentle. You sound extremely blunt and straightforward, which is a good thing, but since you're already losing feelings and she isn't, she will probably take the breakup much harder than you. You need to lead with kindness and tell her that you've enjoyed your time together, but you just want different things out of life, and it's not fair to either of you at this point. I'm wishing you luck up, but really take a look at yourself in this situation too.